Hi guys, it's Shiz, and today we're going to go over the pre-patch builds for Assassination Rogue, mainly focused on PvP. I'll tell you what I like, I don't like, and yeah, let's get into it. So we got these two trees pulled up. When you're looking at these, just think of it as like left side, right side, right side. Like these are, you can swap a lot of the stuff out and be successful. When I made this left side tree, it's war with a double DPS like for twos in mind. That's why I have the mark for death. And on the right side, it's more of like a consistent pump. For both builds, like if you're playing double DPS, you can play Kingspan. If you're playing healer DPS, you can play Kingspan too. They're both very nice talents, but let's get into like the major things first. So we no longer have Vendetta, but we do have Death Mark, which essentially takes your Growth and Rupture damage and it copies those two bleeds. So it doubles your bleed damage essentially, and it also puts up a bleed itself, dealing 100% more damage as well. This is pretty important to note because it synergizes really well with this Extenuate talents that we play. So with both builds, we're gonna always pretty much play this. Not by a target dummy, but we're gonna want to get our bleeds up. Try to get like if we're playing around a build that's modifying Growth, which you should be. We want to put the big Growth up, which is a Growth from stealth. Growth using, the Sepsis proc, or a meld or a vanish like Growth, and then put up a Rupture, and then Exang it. So Death Mark to Exang. When I first started with pre-patch, I was kind of what's the word? Not happy with how many globals there was. So like I was trying to do the most damage possible, so I might put like Sepsis up, which your force set doesn't really work, so Sepsis is not nearly as good as it was. Use it for the improved Growth. Only really reason to use Sepsis. But I'll try to put up Sepsis, my bleeds, have Slice up, Kidney the target, and then Death Mark with Exang, and Kingsman on top of that. And it was just so much globals to use in a Kidney. It was very clunky, so I just wanted to like describe what I found to be the best use, and this could change as well. But basically, what I've been doing is I'll put up like a Growth, a Rupture, get Slice up, refresh Slice, and then Kidney. In the opener a lot, I use Sepsis. It's not just even if it gets dispelled, like I'm looking to get the proc from it to get an improved Growth. Like I don't really care too much about the Sepsis damage. It's not that crazy anymore. Same thing with Kingspan. Like I'll treat that like its own cooldown. So typically what I've been doing is I've been using Sepsis, and you can use Necro too if you want, like the Necro ability, but I've been using Sepsis to get the improved Growths. And then maybe in the same go, I'll use Kingspan. The big thing about Kingspan, make sure you have Slice up because it's based on like your lethal poison attacking the target to get higher damage. So you want to have Slice up so you have more chances of, Deadly or the other poison to proc. You also want to have any Venom up, gives it more chances to proc. You also want to have Shiv up, which we have 2 charges of Shiv now if you didn't know, which will increase nature damage done, which I think this is nature damage. Yeah, this is nature damage as well. So yeah, Kingsman I've been using a lot, making sure I want to maximize again
battery
Shiv
low
and any Venom, and then in a separate go I've been using
charging battery,
Kingsman and Exang. Again, when you use Kingsman, you're going to want to have double bleed damage with your improved Growth. So from stealth, using meld. If you're not a Night Elf already and you plan on playing Assass, go Night Elf. I think it's going to be the best rogue race with the new trinket change. Let's go back to these trees real quick. So I want to just tell you like what I like and I don't like. Starting with the left side, I do like having mark for death for like double DPS, so your rotation can be really easy. You can grow it from stealth, and that will give you combo points. Rupture, Mark for Death Kidney, Shiv, and then like put up Sepsis or something somewhere in there, or if you're playing control as king, you can cheap shot first to get slice, and then refresh it with cut to the chase. Whatever rogue build you run, you don't want to take out cut to the chase. I like it too much to really get rid of it. But yeah, that's what I would do if I was playing Mark for Death. Would be a Groat, Rupture, Mark for Death, Kidney, in that sequence. We do have access to an ability called Cold Blood, so if we're looking if we're playing double DPS, this could be really beneficial for having like the most burst dam. If we're looking for the most burst dam, we might want to spec into Elaborate Planning. If you want to have the most burst dam, making sure. So this is like the Groat build. So I really like the Groat build. I've played without it, but I find that I really like playing with it. So just having Shrouded Septification and improved Groats being like the main components of the spec. Let's just kind of go through the talent tree one by one so it's a little more organized. So we're always going to click these 3 abilities, and then Deadly Poison, of course, Evasion, Feint, Cloak of Shadows. Feint is now 20% if we spec into it, so it's not that exciting. So I play Cheat Dead a lot, but you can still play it. Master Poisoner, I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Numbing Poison, you can play this for utility. I think it's really good. I still think Mind Numbing's pretty insane, although Assass doesn't have like a slow like Outlaw does, so it can be kind of funky. And then you can also play Entropic Poison, which decreases your damage taken by 3%. You can apply that to everybody. And I'm wondering if that stacks with Atonement, which is 3% damage reduction, so it'd be 6 total, or with like a Polyzora, which is 3%, which would be 6 total. Because if that's the case, this could be potentially pretty good on teams where you just need to live longer. We do have Gouge now. I love having Gouge. I don't think I'd ever spec out of playing Gouge. I just love it a ton. These 3 I consistently don't play. However, maybe in 3s later on, I will play this. Especially if I'm playing like Rogue Lock or something. I could see Iron Stomach being really good. But yeah, these 3 I'm consistently not playing. We're never going to play this because we're not going to play Wind Poison ever as a Sass. We also have 2 Shadow Step charges, which is insane. 2 Shadow Step charges, which synergizes really well like against like Ardruids, Mistweaver Monks, things that are going to kite you a shit ton. You can even play this Intent to Kill talent. And a lot of times I will do that if my best kill option is the Ardruid. Tricks, I have not been running tricks, but you can. I just don't feel like I have enough points, and I want to use my points on something else. If you play tricks, you have to give up an honor talent too, which these are the most ones, the honor talents I've been running with the most. Swapping out maybe I really like Freedom Sprint, but if I don't need Freedom Sprint, I'll play Disarm. If I don't, if there's no caster, then I'll just switch to System Shock. We got this pretty nice talent where against like double melee or something, or Fury War, instead of using evasion, you could cloak for the 100% reduction. I don't know. We're not gonna go too deep into that. Another potential twos build that I haven't really experimented with too much, but I see sub-rogues playing it, is maybe playing like a dance build, and then when you like vanish and you meld get a re, and if you do dance, you're getting 30% of your health back over 6 seconds. That's 3 different opportunities you could use: meld, dance, and vanish to get, this Soothing Darkness proc. And as far as I know, it doesn't have a cooldown, so that could be really good. Another thing, watch out for your conduits, because they still work and they will work in pre-patch. But I don't know if they stack. I don't think they stack. So a lot of our rogues are going to change out, what was it? Yeah, well-placed steel. You can see it only does an extra 1%, like a 1% versus increased damage of your mutilate by 20%. It's pretty nice. So yeah, keep that in mind when you're looking at your conduits in pre-patch. Pull up the other tab. But yeah, let's keep moving. In twos, I think this is pretty nice. If you're playing with another DPS, or like you're struggling to live, like you just get rolled over by a comp. If I'm playing healer DPS, I don't think you really need it. You can drop it, which is Blackjack. Reduces the damage after you sap or blind someone. It's not going to work with Gouge. It would be really cool if it worked with Gouge, though. I do like Shadowrunner because it makes you move faster in stealth. It's just quality of life. I would never get rid of Subterfuge. Subterfuge is so nice. Lets you do a lot of things, especially if you're playing Nelf like me. This could be pretty good, but you can drop Prey of the Week. It is 10% in Arena, which previously it was nerfed to 5%, but it's back up to 10%, so that could be really good for playing like Rogue Shadow Priest or Rogue Mage. Always go with improved sprints. Fleet-footed, we'll just play that pretty much always. And then we do want to have Feign or Cheat Death. Just quality of life. First, Acrobatic Strikes was previously only Outlaw only. Now you can play it with Sass, which is really nice. Thing with Outlaw is that when they click Blade Fury, they have an extra 2 yards, so like their cleave damage is going to be insane. I do think Sass is better overall, though. Vigor, which is a insane, lovely quality of life talent. If we're playing, if we need that on-demand kidney, like we need to do goes faster, which you would with double DPS. I play Mark for Death. Alacrity's been nerfed. It's not that exciting. But yeah, double DPS if you want like an on-demand go, on-demand damage, then this is where you're gonna go with. Lethargy, like just more damage, quality of life stuff. Sealed Fate, you can take the time to read that. Bigger burst damage for like double DPS, or even if you want to play this with like healer DPS, you could play Cold Blood and do a fatty any venom. Right now, I've seen a lot of legendaries played. You can play the Vanish one that increases your damage. You can play Doomblade, which is the one I'm running right now. You can read what that does. And then there's the Reduced Vendetta one, which could work for Deathmark instead. I assume it does because I see a lot of like good rogues still play it at this moment. I just don't feel like having that. I'd rather have Doomblade. And Thistle Tea is so insane, especially when playing healer DPS, because Mastery is going to increase your poison and bleed damage, right? And you can macro this in with your Deathbane, and you can do some pretty nice damage with it. Just like if you're going to use a Thistle Tea, ideally pair it with a Shiv, so you have increased poison damage from both these things. It synergizes really well. These two don't work, I've been told, so don't use that. For pre-patch Covenants, you can play all 4. You could play Kyrian. I've seen a couple rogues play Kyrian. I've seen like Trill and Drizzy. They've been experimenting with Venthy. It could be good. I'm playing Nightface. I don't have to talent into Sepsis. I have extra talent points. I play Sepsis so I can get that proc from it to get improved Groats. Also, the Phase nice for mobility. And yeah, I haven't experimented with like a dance build or with like a Soothing Darkness build. You definitely should try it out though. A lot of this stuff is, you do whatever you want with it. I'm just giving you like what I found I like the best, what I've been the most successful with. But yeah, like right now on live, my rogue is, if I'm playing healer DPS, I like Control of the King a lot because I can just cheap shot Rupture. And since I'm not playing Mark for Death, instead of doing Mark for Death Kidney, I do cheap shot. I get that full slice. When I cheap shot, I can, then either use Shiv or Sepsis, build up to 5 combo points, kidney off that. It's a pretty clean rotation. Anyways, let's go back to the trees. If you're playing 3s, your PvP talent will probably be swapped for potentially Bomb. I don't know. I like Bomb, Freedom Sprints. Need Hemotoxin because we have 2 shifts now, right? So it's 40% MS for 16 seconds potentially. System Shock if you want a little extra mustard. Okay. In the right tree, let's get it done. Let's get it done. So we're kind of on the right tree. We're kind of focused on building the big Garrotes. So I would not swap out of any talent that increases your Garrote damage. So Bloody Mess, Improved Garrote, Shrouded Subtification. I've tried playing with Poison Bomb, without Poison Bomb. I've come to the consensus that I really like it. It pumps. So I would keep Poison Bomb in there. Let's just go to the tree one by one. So yep, these ones you're just going to default. You're going to automatically pick automatically. Cut to the chase. I've tried playing without it. I do not like playing without it. Always have this talent. It's very, very good. Elaborate planning, give or take. Some rogues play it, some don't. Up to you. Gives you a little bit more burst damage, which is pretty nice. Improved poisons. Probably just want to pick that up. Already talked about Bloody Mess. Internal bleeding. I like internal bleeding because it gives you that bleed on your kidney shot, and it gives you that energy regen, and I believe it will synergize with Doomblade pretty well for pre-patch. Intent to kill reduces your shadow step cooldown by 1/3. You have 2 shadow steps, so you don't necessarily need this, but I really, really like this against our druids and like windwalkers and things that can kite me. I like playing it baseline anyways because it's so easy to just put a growth up on somebody and then just follow them. Really good against mages too. What even is step, boys? Step is I think it's a 30-second cooldown. Anyways, it'll take like 10 seconds off your step or something. I don't know off the top of my head. Anyways, you're gonna need to play Shiv. These talents over here on the left side, these are gonna be like Mythic Plus talents. So modifies your fan, AoE bleed, flying daggers. I wouldn't play these. You could try it against like BM Hunter or like something with a lot of pets, but yeah, stay clear of these. They're not that exciting. Which direction do I want to go? I'm gonna just show you on this right side. Fatal Concoction. I do want that with pretty much all my bleeds or all my builds. So maybe I would take like one from here and put it here, something like that. Take out Iron Wire. Anyways, yeah. Would like to keep Fatal Concoction with pretty much all your builds, so make sure you have that. Improved Growth, already talked about that. Always gonna play Deathmark, always, 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 so good. Master Assassin, if you want that extra mustard, you can give or take on that, but it's not as good. 30% increased crit chance after breaking self for 3 seconds. Could be pretty nice. Always gonna play Xang. I like Iron Wire for utility. So Iron Wire reduces the damage when you growth them from stealth. Gives you a longer growth. So I always want to play this. Up to you if you want to play it. I don't know if it stacks with that Blackjack. It could. I haven't tested it. But that'd be cool if it did. Lethal Dose. I don't really care for these talents. It doesn't really matter. You have to play Vicious Venoms to get Systemic Failure, which I think is pretty good. Should stack with the Conduit. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. If you haven't paid attention, if you're not paying attention right now, listen to this last part, because this last part is pretty important. Because there's a lot of variation we can do in this. So one of my favorite quality of life changes is Twist the Knife. You can play... It just gives you an extra 2 seconds on your any venom, which is really nice because it increases your poison proc. It's very good synergy with Kingsband. It'll eventually synergize with Kingsband. We do have a new poison too, so this one, amplifying poison's nice. It makes your any venom hit a little harder. But what's really good about this is if we're playing Gouge, Deadly Poison's going to break Gouge every time, right? Amplifying Poison's not going to break Gouge nearly as often. Alright, this is the part that I wanted you guys to pay attention to right here. So I really like Blindside. Blindside's really nice. It can work well with Sealed Fate. But Blindside gives you like a proc ambush. It feels really nice as part of a rotation. However, we can drop Blindside and opt into more bursts. There is a legendary that has the exact same tooltip. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but you could run these two together. And just playing this talent by itself, I'm hitting people for like 10k, like around 10k. So I don't know, with another legendary it could hit like potentially 20k. I haven't tested it out, but running this talent you can do for like double TPS if you want a little bit more burst. Like this Blindside better for consistent damage. It can be really good when people are low health. But this is a talent that I've just seen Calvish play, and I've tried it out myself and I really like it. Okay, I really like Poison Bomb, so I'd recommend a build that has Poison Bomb. Again, it pumps, but you can see on this left side I don't have Poison Bomb in this particular build because I opted to getting Kingsban. And of course, Shrouded Septification. Just note that it gives you 2 combo points if you start with Groat first, so don't cheap shot into Groat. Try to Groat into cheap shot from stealth. This one, I haven't played this at all because I'm currently Fey, so I don't need to play it. But you could use it, you choose between Fey and the Necro ability. Scent of Blood, I don't think that's insane. Dashing Scoundrel sounds pretty good. I've played with it a little bit, but I haven't tested it too much. But you could opt into playing this. I think for pre-patch though, one takeaway from this video is this stuff right here is so good for healer DPS 2s, and for all 2s really, because in 2s dampening starts right away, and as dampening starts to rack up, once you get someone below 35% health, like I've killed a lot of people just throwing my knife at them and keeping deadly poison on them. It works the same with all the bleeds, but this is very noticeable. 45% increase to your poisons and bleeds, and once they get below that marker, if you have Death Mark and Exang up and you have your improved Groat, like people just flop to this thing. People, like I've been blinded before, and once they're below like 35% health, like my dots literally just solo someone, and it's pretty entertaining to watch. Yeah, I have no idea if Dragon's Tempered Blades are going to be good or not. I'll have to test it when I'm max level. And then this right ability is like a Mythic Plus ability. We don't really need it for PvP. Okay, let's go to my character real quick and just talk about these talents real quick. So I'm going to want to put... So with your bleeds, there's like a concept called Pandemic or something, where if you like refresh it at like the last 8 seconds, you with like a 5 combo point or with an improved Groat or not improved Groat, it will refresh that for its maximum duration for like 30 seconds. So originally you can see by this tooltip it's 24 seconds, but if I refresh it with like the last like 8 or less seconds, it'll go from 24 seconds and it'll be refreshed if I use 5 combo points to 31 seconds. And the same thing happens with your Groat. Groat's 18 seconds, but if you reapply it, it goes above 18 seconds, and that's going to synergize really well with Death Mark and with Exang for more bleed damage when you do your burst rotation. But just to recap that rotation, when I am playing Kingsban build, what I've been doing is prioritizing using honestly just Sepsis and Kingsban, regardless if they can dispel Sepsis. Pretty much right away, as soon as I can, after I get up my quality of life, Slice and Dice and bleeds, and trying to force cooldowns with that, with the Sepsis proc, get that improved Groats. And then second Kidney DR is ideally the time to use your Death Mark and Exane for that big damage. When you do that Death Mark and Exane, like having Vanish for the improved Groat, or you want to just lock down someone as much as possible, right? So doing like a Kidney Go pre-shiv on them, Death Mark, Exane, having Meld for the 2 cheap shots off, or to do 2 cheap shots to their Trinket, and then try to get like an Anti-Venom off in between there. You can definitely global kids. I highly recommend you practice on like a target dummy in Stormwind or Orgrimmar, not like the regular ones, but the PvP ones, to like really maximize your burst. But yeah, I really like Kingsban so far. Trill and Drizzy, who is GBG, have been playing it. I think Waz logged onto his Rogue recently off stream, and he's spec that way. I think it's really good because you have like multiple goes, right? Like, don't try to shove these all into like the same go like I did. It's just too many globals. It feels really clunky. You're not going to one-shot that way. So it's nice just to have like those multiple goes. And I don't know, Thistle Tea is self-explanatory. When you get low energy, you can just pop it. I have it macroed in with Death Mark 2 for the max amount of dam when I pop it. So yeah, don't be afraid to use Thistle Tea for energy. And I just think this one's better overall because obviously Mastery is going to synergize really well with that recipe talent, and I don't know, just it synergizes really well with pretty much everything. Like, I don't feel like I need Mark for Death. I can just play that, and it's pretty solid. Anyways, that's pretty much it. That's what I've been going through for at least Assassin Rogue. I think Assassin Rogue could be the best rogue spec at max level because of the 2 shivs and the amount of damage. I'm not going to count Outlaw out yet because of their survivability. Like, their Outlaw has a lot of CDR, even more so than they did in Shadowlands, it seems like, at least last season, because of the way like Dreadblade works and how many more combo points they're getting with their new talent system. If I find time, I'll make a video about it. I have tested out a little bit, but I don't know. I really like the damage from Assass and the ability to like finish games out way quicker. So yeah, that guide will come. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. All right, everyone have a great day. Peace out.